So the Biden administration is holding off on plans to ban menthol cigarettes after lobbying efforts from civil rights groups. The proposal is sparking concerns from critics about aggressive police tactics in enforcing a potential ban and targeting black voters who favor menthol cigarettes by 85%. You see the numbers there. Now, the debate on menthol comes as the president gears up for his re-election campaign, with concerns about low turnout among black voters. According to a recent NBC poll, 25% of black voters would consider voting for Donald Trump today. That is a big deal because that number was 12%, so it's basically 2x from where it was in 2020. The bottom line here is this being punted, a health issue, because of political purposes?
Yes.
Amisha
and the answer is 100% yes.
Amisha and I were talking about this in the break, and Amisha said to me, I might give you a different take than you were expecting from me.
Yeah, so
what? Go.
My grandfather died of cancer based on smoking menthol cigarettes. There are thousands of black men and women who have died over the past 3-4 decades that are legitimately linked to menthol cigarette smoking. I think that we have to be very strategic in how we talk about this in terms of its health risks that are excessive for anyone, but because black people use these cigarettes more than anybody else, the effects are even greater for that population. What I've seen, and I've gotten calls from various elected officials in addition to the people who work for them, who represent Black Caucus members at the federal level as well as at the city and the state level, to speak in a positive position here. They will not hear it from me as someone who is personally affected and who lost someone with this issue. But in addition to that, I think that there are two things here that are right at the same time. On the one hand, for the people who are against this, who are saying that this would impact the black community and increase policing, they are 100% correct. Quite frankly, because they're sold more and they're distributed more and they're received more by black people than anybody else. The black community is already over-policed. You will never catch me or any other black person saying, hey, we need more cops in our communities. We need to lock people up. We need, we need to over-criminalize. However, I also feel as though there is a legitimate health case here. And if there isn't some federal restriction associated with it, our community will continue to suffer and people will continue to die.
I said to Mick during the break when I was at the White House, I remember this being the issue that folks were pinging my cell phone with more than any other issue. And the Trump administration punted this issue as well, too. It's not just Joe Biden punting it. It was Donald Trump who did the same.
This is how it works. This is an initiative within the FDA. They've wanted to ban these for a long time, so they came to us and said, look, it's a part of our agenda inside the government to ban these things. And we got a lot of pushback, not only from the African-American community, but from the Republican politicians who were up for election in 2020. It's a big deal in North Carolina, for example. It's a lot of political pressure not to ban these things. If you go back to that graphic for a second, by the way, on Trump in 2024, you look at the graphic on Trump in 2020, the 12% that he did in 2020 was more, I think, at least twice and maybe 3 times what Mitt Romney did in 2012.
It was like in the low single digits for Republicans. So to see 20.
Pretty good support within the African-American community. We knew it, and we were listening to them. It was one of the reasons we didn't make the change.
By the way, the Obama administration solicited comments for potential regulation of menthol cigarettes in 2013.
Wow. Look,
10 years later, we're still talking about it.
Any politician, this is why people hate politics so much, any politician that cares more about their poll numbers and how some little issue, which is big in the African-American community, but really is so minor compared to so many other pressing issues about the welfare of Americans, that cares more about doing this to figure out what's going on, it doesn't deserve to be in office.
We are still a representative government. And if the people back home don't want something to be illegal, it's not wrong for a politician.
You know what? Sometimes you need a lot more moral clarity and courage than what I'm seeing right now on either side of the aisle.
Two Republicans arguing this out goes to show you it's a tricky and tough issue.
I'm for the people, not the politicians.
All right. Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.